What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ Review, and I'm here to review Jessica Jones Season 3, Episode 6. I think it's titled AKA Sorry Face. And this is one where we finally get superhero shenanigans. Yes, Jess and Trish track down Salinger, but not before Salinger has his way with Eric. So let's talk about that. So Eric wakes up towards the beginning of the episode, and he's tied to a chair, and Salinger is ready to torture him. And he wants Eric to be sorry for everything that he's done. Remember, Salinger is all about getting the cheaters, the superpowered people. He wants the cheaters to suffer. And he wants Eric to... And he actually discovers during the torture sequence that Eric is superpowered. And once he learns that the closer he gets to Eric, the more pain he causes Eric, he starts to have fun with that. In fact, I thought this was really interesting. He gets so close to Eric, when he touches Eric's head, Eric writhes in pain. In fact, he gets so close to Eric that Eric actually starts bleeding out of his eyes. He starts crying blood. So, again, Salinger's formidability, his rank as a villain starts to increase because he is taking it to the next level. And he's very good at hiding his footprints. We'll get to that in a minute. So Jess and Trish, they're working to track down Salinger because they know that Salinger has Eric. And they actually work with the police. The police think that Salinger only had 7 victims. They think that he's had 8 because there were 8 photos that Jess took. They discover that one of the people in the 8 photos wasn't a murder victim. They track him to the restaurant that he works at, and they find out that this chef or whatever he works at a restaurant. Maybe he's just a cook, I don't know. But they find out that he's homosexual, and he was on a date with Salinger. And that this man tried to be aggressive with Salinger, sexually aggressive. And that's actually what got him set free. Salinger actually let him go. That allowed Jess and Trish to find out the commercial location where Salinger was holding Eric. They're able to get to this warehouse where Eric's being held, and they have a little throwdown with Salinger. They end up beating him. They rescue Eric, and then come to find out that Salinger has covered his tracks so well they can't pin murder on him because there's no DNA on any of the bodies. There's no evidence. Right now they have to hold him on trespassing. So they're back to square one with Salinger. They have to find some way to pin these murders on him. Now, they do have a witness who can testify against Salinger, but that would mean coming out as Jessica Jones as a blackmailer. And that's Eric. Eric can't do that. Why not? Because if he goes to prison, it'll kill him. Because he'll be around all these bad people, and it'll cause him so much pain and so much distress that he'll eventually die. That's actually why he, after Jessica and Trish rescues him, he refuses a hospital visit because there's too many people there. There'll be good people there, but there'll also be bad people there, and he can't be there. So Eric's becoming a more interesting character in what he can and cannot do because of his superpowers to tell if somebody's being bad, to tell if somebody's a bad person. So that was the strongest part of the episode, was the narrative that brought Trish and Jessica to Salinger. They rescue Eric, and then Salinger ends up it appears he might get away with it. There's definitely some subplots in this. You know, Jessica outs Trish to Trish's mom as being a superhero, and she does this in the best way, by throwing Trish out the window. and then they, Trish and Trish's mom have a heart-to-heart, and it doesn't really go well, as you would expect it not to go well. Malcolm gets his revenge on the pimp that hit him in the back of the head, and then he gets a payment from from Eric's sister. More proof that Malcolm is a horrible person, because Malcolm is in a relationship. Nobody's good in this show. There's not a good person in this show. There's heroes, but there's nobody good. And then Hogarth's story continues to develop. She goes to Kith's house, is turned away. Nobody wants to see her. She meets Kith's son, and he blows up at her, and he actually she brings bagels, and he actually throws the bagels on the ground. In the process, he accidentally hits her, and she hurts her wrist. So there's signs that her disease is advancing quickly. So I don't feel bad for Hogarth because she's such a horrible person. But at the same time, there has to be some empathy there. You have to be like, her life is in shambles. Her professional life is in shambles. Everything about this woman is in shambles. It's mostly her making. It's not her fault that she has the disease, but everything else is her making. Her life is in shambles now. So you definitely feel some empathy towards her. She's losing most of her business. Most of her business was Rand Industries. They dropped Danny Rand's name in it, saying that Danny Rand wouldn't approve of them leaving her law firm. And then they say that Danny Rand's been on some sort of sabbatical. I half expect him to show up this season. I really do. Could be wrong, but I half expect him to show up. This was a nice episode because stuff happened in this episode. The story progressed. Things went from point A to point B. So that makes this a good episode of TV. There's still slow parts in it. There's still a lot of slow stuff in Jessica Jones, as there has been the whole season. That's what killed season 2 for me. Season 2 was too slow. Now, if you remember, I've said that I love season 1. Season 1 is among my favorite Marvel Netflix shows. Season 2 is amongst the worst for me. Right now, this one's probably somewhere in the middle, but this episode was good because stuff happened. And I want to see more things happen. I want to see the story continue to progress. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is a wait and see. I'm just sitting back and waiting to see what the story does, hoping that it continues to take some good turns into excitement. You know, I want to see Jessica Jones be a superhero. I want to see Trish be a superhero. Trish was less annoying in this episode. Still don't like her. I still think she's a horrible person and annoying. But she at least had some interesting stuff happen in this episode that I was able to follow and I was able to say, yeah, that was good stuff. So right now, sitting back saying, what's the second half? This is about the halfway point of the season. So right now, I'm sitting back saying, what's the second half going to bring us? First half right now, this is a middle of the road Marvel TV series. Let's see what the second half brings us. See if it can stick the landing. So that's where I'm at right now on Jessica Jones. Thank you for being here at the LQ Review, where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. You can help me get there by hitting subscribe. And as always, I appreciate you being here where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.